Okay. So basically, well, first, everybody, welcome again. And some of the mentors have already heard part of this presentation, but not everything. And as I said before, we are going to work, or you are going to help us come up with some ideas for the class of 2024. We're especially grateful for the mentees who are participating because they can give us the feedback of the mentees who have gone through the program. So the objectives are, of course, to obtain the feedback, but not only on the feedback on the program as a whole, but the most important elements of the program. And then we're going to discuss the recommendations that you make in your groups of work. And as expected results, we're going to have the evaluation of the experience of the 2023 class and ways in which we could improve the mentorship. And this is also an opportunity for networking and net weaving. So this is the agenda. We have already gone to welcome. We are not going to introduce ourselves, except when we make an intervention. We say our name and the country and where we're coming from. Elements of the program to be reviewed. I will talk about that. Then we'll have working groups for 12, 15 minutes. The lower number is when Anaïl is going to give us a warning to all of us that we need to go to the next point. And then the forum, which will be the most important part, 18, 20 minutes. We have invited Ahmed Abdel Fattah, who has been with us, was with us, 3 years ago? And he's going to tell us about his career, starting from the beginning. And then we'll have a summary and conclusions. I don't know if anybody has any comments about this, but we thought about having 6 groups, and I think we're going to have less. One will discuss the recruitment and matching of mentees and mentors. This is crucial for the program. Then review the method and the dynamics of the session, which resources are available for the mentoring program. We have noticed that people do not take advantage of some of the information that we have in the website. The idea of talking about promotion and communication, this is critical too, because it has to do with the recruitment and making the program be known by other people around the world. Networking, partnerships, and resource mobilization. This we have left empty, and perhaps we can discuss this during the forum. And the same thing with the program evaluation. So basically, we will have 4 themes, and then as part of the forum, we can discuss the networking, partnerships, and resource mobilization, and the evaluation of the program. Okay. Sorry. We have visitors, and they are loud and boisterous because they're going to have lunch. Okay, this is the announcement that we have made, and different messages for the mentoring class of 2024. And basically, we tell them, if you have these questions, participate in the program, the requirements, and that the program is free of charge, and that the dates for the application, November 1st, 2023 to January 31st. We thought about January 15, but we would like to have as many people as possible applying to the program.
Don Fernando, I'm sorry, can you make your screen bigger?
Let me see. Just a moment. Let me move this. Okay.
There you. Thank you. Thank you. We
Fernando,
lost yours.
Fernando, I think if you put it on projection, that'll cover it, make it go for the whole screen. If you look on the
Right.
bottom, there's like a little camera. And it'll keep going to the right, down below, just
I
before you
have-
get to the volume.
The problem I have is that I cannot move the bar with all the information is over the where I can make the presentation larger. So I don't know how I can make this. Let me see if I can make it as larger. No, and Aileen, you will need to help me make with the slides. I'm going to stop sharing. Sorry, everybody. First time we had a problem. First time. Okay.
We'll start sharing now.
Yeah, and make it big. And actually as a projection.
Yes. Just let me know if you can see it well.
There we go. Thank you.
Okay. Here we have what we consider for the selection of the mentees. Of course, their background, but then we also test their decision making, the values and decisions that they make regarding ethical problems, the respect and acceptance of diversity, gender issues, expectations and aspirations, etc. And all of this, I think, is a more comprehensive way of evaluating people. Somebody asked us, well, can you compare Oxford with the University of Tlaxcala in Mexico? Well, what we do is we compare people with their peers. If somebody is number one in the University of Tlaxcala, for us, that has real value, almost as much as Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard, etc. for that person. Mentors, the most important factor is for them to have successful experience. An academic and work background are really important, but more important are their willingness to be a mentor, and we can detect in the advice they give to mentees some of the way they think and the empathy in a certain way. And we know most of the mentors. And even the new mentors, we have an interview with them, and sometimes they're interviewed by mentees. Batching is where what we do is we sharing the profiles of all the mentors. They choose 3 possible mentors, and then we select according to the mentee expectations and aspiration, more than by the technical part. So we may have, and that's because the people working in global health and development are coming from fields other than health. But most matches, about 85%, are matched with one of the mentors that they have chosen. Next one, Anaili, please. Okay. Group B, I need for you to tell us, because last year we have 7 sessions and many people were not even able to have 7 sessions. In the beginning, 17, 18, we had as a minimum 14 sessions in 9 months, and then we moved that to 10. And the reason we did that is because people reach their desired outcomes, results, Well, above 7, that's what we found out. Above 7, they were able to obtain their results. And I explained you exactly how we did the evaluation. Types of mentoring, that's in the guidelines, prescriptive, instrumental, and developmental. But basically, we're talking about organic versus formal mentoring. Modalities of mentoring, one-on-one, one-on-more, more-on-more, and that refers to mentors or mentees. We have mentees who meet with 2 or 3 mentors at the same time or sequentially, depending on their needs. Oh, next one. Mentoring resources. All of you have this presentation in the chat, no? And Ailey?
No, I haven't bought it, so why
Ah,
was
yeah, all of you have that. That's the part of resources on the website, and there you can see whatever is available for mentees and mentors. The other question that we have is about the webinars and fora, and I want to apologize. I'm sorry that we didn't have more, but I was out for 6 weeks to 2 months out of the for some reasons. And anything else that you will suggest for the mentoring resources that people will need for the program? Next one, Naili. Okay. As I mentioned in past presentations, most of our mentees come through referrals, about 30%, and word of mouth in universities or institutions. Or with the announcements that we made in LinkedIn, we made about 2 or 3 to let people know that the program exists. I make direct invitations when I see somebody that is really, really excellent or is looking for a job, or we know that that person is looking for a doctorate or something else. So they're invited directly to apply. And then I don't know where people come, they say just the internet. We don't advertise in any of the social platforms except LinkedIn. But some people may use their networks, and that's where we get some people, but that's less than 15%. Next one. This, as I mentioned, the ideas are to be developed by the group. Next one. And group F is the initial assessment in May, satisfaction with matching, and the quality of the sessions, the initial sessions, and they give the prognosis for the mentorship. The final evaluation, we're going to send you the evaluation tomorrow to everybody to be answered by January 15. And it's basically the results of the mentorship. Next one. Well, this is, we changed that to the percentages, but there are 112 countries, and the majority of the countries represented, countries of birth or where people are working, are in Europe. Many students from Africa and from Asia and from other countries, other regions, are studying in Europe. The next one is the Americas, and this is mostly from North America that we have representation. Among the mentors, we have mentors from Latin America. We have only few mentors from Latin America and the Caribbean, and so we need to have more. And MENA, North Africa, and the Middle East, we have about 11% are from that region. Oceania, we have only 2%, and Asia, only about 18%. So the majority represent European countries because they are residing there, or because they are from a country in Europe. Mostly Germany, Romania, and now we have Serbia and some of the countries in Scandinavia. Okay, next one. And well, here you can see the countries that we have, and the next one. These are the numbers of participants. Now we have more than 307. That was until 2022. With last year, we are in about 350 mentees. And we have increased the number of countries to about 116, 120. We don't have the exact number at this moment. 69 plus languages, 70 plus disciplines. Next one, Anaili. Let me move fast. This is just an example of some of the universities where people are coming from. It's just a partial list because there are lots of universities in other regions that we didn't put because we have only one person, but we have about 7 people from Harvard. We have about 15, 16 from the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. For the Institute Pasteur, we have about 3 or 4. Göteborg, we have, I would say about 7, 8. And that's the way it is. So Charité, we have from the medical school, we have about 5. And there are many more. The next one. You have seen these 9 questions about your future. These are based on the pathways, opportunities, and decisions. Next one, because I don't want to explain, I don't need to explain this one. Okay, this one we're going to come back to this. This is the evaluation. Back, next. The 9 questions are the questions that have to do with the acronym of MOTI-POD, the POD. Pathway, who am I, what is my Ikigai? The questions about opportunities, how do I know what I want? Many people come with that question. I don't even know what I want. But most of them want the opportunities and how to get what they want. Basically, a job or an academic degree, enter into a program. And the 3 questions about decisions: how do I choose? Where should I choose? How do I know this is it? Next one, and types of mentoring, you will discuss that. Prescriptive, the mentee is told what to do. Instrumental, the mentee chooses the subject. And most of you use the developmental, the organic sessions, where the mentee increases self-awareness, self-confidence, and self-sufficiency. And the evaluation, there are mostly young women who talk about this part, especially the self-confidence. Men are perhaps more or less self-conscious. Okay, next one. Here are the modalities of mentoring that I mentioned very briefly. Several people participating. Most of our mentor-mentee pairs do the informal mentoring, spontaneous mentor-mentee, although some of them elaborate the program from the very beginning and follow with modules or with helping with the thesis, for example. That's a more formal type of support. The next one, Anaili. This is the way we do the evaluations. And in the beginning, we try to do only the achieved, to say this is not enough. So we never consider when somebody initiates, for example, finding pathways, if they get to who am I and what am I now, that's okay, but we don't take that as progress. The idea is to see the progress of people, initiate in progress, almost achieve and achieve. For example, job and academic programs, when they do the research on the institutions, that's only initiation. When they have the applications and they send the application, that means it's in progress, almost achieved, when they get an interview, for example, and then achieve when they get the job offer or acceptance into the program. This usually happens after the mentorship because many of the people get the information, get the acceptance from the university the following year. Let's see, the next one, an ID. Okay, this is the professional. Before we had a 60% as the line for in progress, almost achieved and achieved. But it was too much, so we moved that to 70%. And we have consistently have above 70% according to the evaluation of progress between steps in progress, almost achieved and achieved. Next one. Oh, we're going to stop here. Okay, so let's go back maybe to the one with the groups, the list of the groups. And how many people do we have? We have about 12 people.
14, yeah, I think we have 14.
So can we have 3 groups?
Okay, 3. Okay.
So one group, we are going to ask, they are going to be a random recruitment, matching of mentees and mentors, and promotion and communication.
Okay.
A and D. Methodology and resources would be another one, B, C. And I think we have another group talking about, no, how many are? 7, 6, yeah, we did 3 groups. And then one that we are going to discuss mainly during the forum is the networking, partnership, and resource mobilization. And then the program evaluation we leave for the forum.
Okay, so I have done the 3 groups. So I will just name some people in each group so you can recognize the ones that are going to talk about some specific topics. So group A is made up, I can see Alisa and Dr. Marty Rice. The second group is where Dr. Firdousi and Dr. Irma are. And the room or the group 3 is where Dr. Jose, Dr. Olaf, and Dr. Stephen and Wealth are going to be placed. So if you want, I have sent via chat the link to the slides so you can just go to the slides and discuss in case you want. So yeah, I don't know if you have any questions, or I can start the breakout rooms for that.
Well, you know, Anaili, we have how many people? 14 people.
Yes.
So in one group, why do we have only 2? Because we are going to
No,
have,
I was just naming some people, but I didn't mention all the participants in the groups, just for them to recognize when they are placed in the groups.
okay.
There
So
will be
is that clear, or shall Anaili repeat what we are going to do?
Could you repeat what the groups are now, since you combined topics? I'm not clear what each group is going to be talking about.
okay. So the first group is going to talk about the A and B topics, right, Dr. Zacharias?
Oh,
They are combined, right?
No. A is A and D.
A and D.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then B and C. And
B
then
and C, the second group, and E and F, the third one.
And somebody,
Okay, so group A, it's A and D, where Alisa and Dr. Marty Rice are. So if you are with Dr. Marty, you know you have A and D. The second group is where Dr. Firdausi and Dr. Irma are. So that group is going to talk about B and C. And the third group is where Dr. Jose and Dr. Olaf are, and they are going to talk about or discuss about the E and F topics.
and what about the other people? Where are they?
They are included. I don't just want to mention all the list, but I can just mention group A, Ahmed, Alisa, Arsene, Chisin, Dr. Marty. The group B, Dr. Irma, Dr. Firdausi, Monica, Paulette, and Sandrina. And group 3, Dr. Jose, Dr. Olaf, Dr. Stephen, and Wilf. Those are the groups.
Okay,
So I'm going to open the breakout rooms.
Good afternoon. Seems I'm missing.
Excuse me? Yeah, you can start joining the groups.
Yeah, it seems that I had the care want to be in group A. Cullimore. Jeremy Cullimore.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Yeah, the second one, the group 2, where you're going to talk about B and C, the B and C topics, Dr.
I had
Jeremy.
the I didn't care want to be in A. Yeah, I put a message in the chat earlier.
Oh, I haven't seen it. I would like to be in group. Okay, yeah, I will just include you.
and what about Monica?
Monica.
Hi, I think I pressed something and it threw me out. Okay, I will join the 2, but before you said 1, I think. Okay.
Yeah, the second one, but you can
Okay.
join now, I think so.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Okay, great.
And Dr. Jeremy, I think you can join the group A now.
Okay.
Entonces quedamos nada más tú y yo, Anaili, fuera. Okay. Well, okay, welcome back, everybody. Anaili is no longer on video because the light is not working in Sincelejo, Colombia, where she is right now, so she has only her telephone. So I know it was very little time, but I know that you have prioritized what you wanted to present. And the most important part is that you got to meet some other people in the program. So before we go to the forum and the discussion, I would like to ask Ahmed to introduce himself and tell us something about his career.
Of course. I think I can do both at the same time. Here we go. Let me start by sharing my screen. Okay. Let me know if you're able to see it. I'm gonna have to go all the way to the beginning. It's not a very long presentation. Is everyone able to see my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay, so I'm happy to give you a very short version of my story. So I grew up in Cairo in Egypt, up here where the area was. I went to my medical school undergrad there, got my medical degree and my postgrad specialization in pediatric medicine. So a lot of schooling. It took me, I guess, 15 years to just like get fresh out of school and start working as a resident in pediatrics. And then when I started working, this is the university main campus. The hospital is not as fancy as the main campus. It's actually almost 100 years old at the time. This is where I did my residency. And residency has a lot of challenges no matter where you do it. There's a lot of work, there's a lot of information to learn and absorb and make use of, and a lot of people to help. With me and with my particularly technology inclined background, one thing that I struggled with the most was the medical records and the fact that I used to work with chronic patients and patients that had a long medical history, and in the same time trying to understand that history when the records looked like this. Those were actual medical records for patients that have been on follow-up for years and years. And every visit is a sheet of paper with handwritten notes. Every order sheet on the right is a sheet that is photocopied, and it's been photocopied 100 times. It is so difficult to read, and you just go and mark your orders on it, and then wait for another sheet to come back from the lab with the results. It does not make for an easy process to care for patients that have a long involved history. At the time, we did not have access to electronic medical records. They're ubiquitous everywhere in the world except for developing countries, because there's so many considerations that go into setting something like this up. So I thought maybe I can just try to build something. And I took a stab at it and built something that is web-based. I tried to transform a medical chart or a file into a web application that physicians and nurses can read and contribute to, and we can all be on the same page. And I tried to make it look nice. That was one lesson learned, is there wasn't a lot of uptake or interest in it. As many of you might have experienced, trying to introduce change into an environment without taking the voice of the customer in consideration and just designing something and handing it over to them usually does not succeed and does not go very far. So that has not been a great experience, unfortunately. But I did learn a few things from it. And in my next assignment, after I had finished residency, we had actually collected some data when we built this thing, so at least it came up with it was beneficial in us understanding some of our patients and their demographics and how it changed over the years. So that was one other thing that we learned from it, even if we did not get a lot of advantage from it in the day-to-day care for our patients, but we did get the data to understand them better. And then my following assignment was a fellowship in pediatric oncology in this beautiful hospital. It is the biggest children's cancer hospital in the world. It's a fully charitable hospital, 300 beds at the moment, and patients get treatment all for free from A to Z. I did my fellowship there. In the last year of my work there, I transitioned from clinical practice into administration, and I was given the emergency department, and I was told to bring some sense into things. So I walk into the emergency department the first day and I ask them, how many patients do we have? And they look at this register, they pull it out, and they start counting manually, one by one. And then 10 minutes later, they told me we have 75 patients. And I say, well, great. How many of them are waiting for an admission bed? And then they go back to the register, and 5 minutes later, they tell me we have 15 patients waiting. And I could immediately tell that this is not a good way to handle things or manage things. If you want to manage something, if you want to improve it, you should start by measuring it. And I could not measure this easily. So I went to IT and I asked them, we have an electronic medical records system in this hospital. Is there a way for you to give me a dashboard for me to see how many patients I have today? And they said, well, yes, but it's going to be very expensive and we don't have the money. So the answer is no. So I asked them, can you build it? And then they told me, well, we're too busy. So the answer is also no. And then I said, fine, I'm going to go and build it myself. So I did. And they were not very happy about that, a doctor going out to build something that IT should build. But I did. I spoke with quality improvement and we thought about very carefully about the metrics and the data that we need to use. We designed and mapped all the workflows of what patients need to go through from the moment they arrive to the moment that they get examined and get their disposition. And then we designed and built a dashboard that looks like this. And it's very simple. Patient arrive and they move from box to box, and then we can see how long they've been waiting, how many we have, what are the things that they're waiting for. And then we could even have a live dashboard on ways to categorize them and see how many do we get every week, how many do we get per hour, what is the busiest hour in the clinics. And it was very useful. And I'm glad to see this one was successful and they're still using it until today. And I was doing all of this without actually studying it. So I thought, well, if I'm doing a good job with this and I'm enjoying it, maybe I should, try to get a degree in it so I can do it on a scientific basis. And that's where I made the trip all the way halfway across the world to Boston, Massachusetts. And I ended up at the School of Public Health getting my master's degree. And in that same year, this is when I became part of Multipod. I met Fernando and he became my wonderful mentor. And this is where this second stage of my journey started. I don't have slides for the rest, so I'm just going to quickly go over it. What ended up happening later is I went on to work in health IT and I worked at Boston Children's Hospital for a good number of years up until very recently. I was the person responsible for building their chemotherapy protocols in the hospital EHR. There was a lot of work, there was a lot of challenges. I'm sad to say a lot of them were interpersonal and departmental challenges and differences with the culture. I am no longer in that position, and it is going to be hopefully a new chapter in the journey. And that is the story.
Wonderful, wonderful. I thank you, Ahmed. I wanted Ahmed to tell us his story for two reasons. First, because you can see, and I'm sorry, I'm going to embarrass you, the quality of our mentees. And also because his journey went from medicine, pediatrics, and then working on oncology, cancer patients, and then public health, and then specifically on information technology. And I think, Ahmed, you learn by yourself.
Yes, I learned through doing, mostly.
He learned by himself, doing what he's doing. So there are two lessons and two obligations to be successful. And the second one is that you have to be aware that what you study at university, or your specialty, or the work that you have had before, for millennials and Generation Z, is changing. You may jump from one job to another job. And before my time, Dr. Carver's time, Dr. Firdousi's time, even the young people like Dr. Romero and Dr. Olaf Kell,
Thank you.
we went into an institution and we worked there. I worked for PACOS in 78 as a consultant, and then I joined Forman in 84. So we had a career, an institutional career, but you are going to be jumping from one thing to the next. The only thing is that we know that you're going to be successful in whatever you do. We have dentists that have become development specialists and physiotherapists that are working with children in Africa. So, okay, thank you, Ahmed. We have a few minutes, and unfortunately, we won't have all the time that we needed to discuss, but at least we would like to have a summary of what each one of the groups came up as a result of their meeting. Group one, who is going to? Okay, Marty, please.
Unfortunately, I became rapporteur by default because nobody else wanted to do it. So our group was looking at recruitment and matching mentees with mentors and how to promote and communicate the program. And it seemed like the most successful recruitment methodologies were, well, it seemed like overall the most successful one was word of mouth, from one mentee to another potential mentee, or one student to another student, or one colleague to another colleague in the same country or another country. The other one that was mentioned was LinkedIn. That's in terms of recruiting the mentees. In terms of what was successful with the matching, one thing that was mentioned was having the opportunity to match with at least 3 potential mentors. And that gave the opportunity to try to match with somebody that might have the same cultural background, the same linguistic background. Although one of the mentees mentioned that that's kind of a double-edged sword, because in the beginning, when you have the same cultural background, you understand each other, communication and understanding is much easier, but maybe over time, it's better to have somebody that comes with a very different perspective. So there's a challenge there in terms of the matching and what are the best things to take into consideration. But I would say certainly in establishing a relationship, understanding the culture and the language is very important. The other things that were mentioned that were made it as successful in terms of the match was having the time and the opportunity for the mentees and the mentor to work at their own pace, to see what the issues were and how to best address those issues and in what kind of time. And then as an adjunct to that, the ongoing opportunities to have feedback was very important to ensure that the match was a good one. And mentees said that they didn't feel like they were just put together and then abandoned, that there was some follow-up, there was some support, there was some guaranteeing that that match was a good match and it was working successfully. One of the things that was identified as a really important thing in terms of helping along with career change was to get the mentee to identify the resources that he or she already had. And rather than thinking that the person needed to go out and get another career, to look at what the person needed and what the person already had in terms of skills and resources, and to find the best path forward. So that seems to me a really important interchange of understanding between the mentor and the mentee. I think those were probably the main points. I don't know if anybody else from our group wants to add on to what I said. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Jeremy here. I would, for me, the whole understanding the gender issues across different geographical spaces, because I was dealing with both, well, in this culture say he, she's, but you know, females in the general sense. And it was important, even why sometimes they have to transfer outside their own spaces to get some of the changes that they wanted in the career pathways. Sometimes I don't think we recognize how important the gender considerations or issues of inclusivity are in these processes of professional development. And so whilst this is taking place in a big global conversation, which can complicate the simpleness of this, I think we have to be sensitive to it.
Thank you. Who is Chisom or Wealth?
That was speaking?
Yeah, yes.
It's Jeremy.
Jeremy. Oh, okay, great. Okay, thank you. Welcome. Thank you. Yeah. Okay, why don't we go to group 2 and then 3, and then we open for questions, a brief period for questions and comments. Group 2.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can go. So in our group, we had Sandrina, Dr. Irma. Sandrina is a mentee, Dr. Irma is a mentor, and Monica is a mentee. So we looked at dynamics and resources. So we didn't have much time due to the constraints of time, but it was very interesting to listen to Sandrina and hear her experience of the dynamics, etc. Now, Sandrina comes from not the traditional public health background, and she comes from a stream where her passion is combining film with storytelling. So initially, when she joined the program, she found it quite difficult to find the niche. But then, what the positive thing is that with her mentor and with other two mentees, she found her direction and a pathway, and using the weaving between film and storytelling, they have developed a small project. So this is very positive to see how the difficulties were there initially, but then how they were overcome. She found the webinars useful. It helped for soul searching, etc. So it was very interesting to listen to Sandrina's experience on this. Then Monica was also a mentee. I think she has left just now. She comes from the traditional public health background. She is a public health resident doing her PG program in the European Commission, and she found the dynamics quite good and quite straightforward. We didn't have time to listen to Dr. Irma's input from this, but this was quite interesting to hear Sandrina's story. So, I mean, Sandrina, you feel free to point out anything that I would have missed.
I think you summarized it perfectly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Firdausi, Dr. Mehta. One thing that is interesting, the two people that you mentioned have been referred. Sandrina was referred to us from by the director of another mentoring program, Global Health B. And we were delighted when we met her because we knew of the work that she was doing and she continued to do. And it's very merging two different, completely different areas into one. And the main point was to continue helping people. Are you in Africa now, Sandrina? Where are you?
Oh, right now I'm in Berlin, but in 10 days I'm leaving to Ghana.
Ghana again. Okay. And Monica was referred to us by another mentor that you have met, Pia Braco from Slovenia, and Monica is also from Slovenia. So that's the way we get most of our mentees, referrals by somebody, and that gives a seal of warranty of that they are going to be successful because they have been successful before. Okay, group 3.
So yeah, I'm going to quickly run you through what we discussed. It was an open discussion and we couldn't really touch on all the elements that were posed in front of us. So we were mainly on networking and partnership. So we thought that we are in Multipod really looking at 3 big circles of partnerships and networking, one of which is, of course, the mentees, one of which is the mentors, and one which is really partnerships external to the program. And why we started to think it's probably worthwhile to have some sort of an inventory. Obviously we know the mentees, we know the mentors, and we have a few external partners, but probably there we could have a bit of an inventory, while at the same time thinking we should be careful. It's a small program. Fernando, you have very limited resources, so we have to be careful about 2 things: priorities. So what is it worthwhile to pursue? And then the other thing is, of course, that we should sort of leverage rather than having that as a central element. And we thought really out of those three, the main circle for us is the mentees. I mean, this program is, about and for mentees. So, and they are really a very rich resource, having grown over many years, and spreading this network out to their respective workplaces, and they're getting into supervisory roles, and then they have people that they can refer, etc., etc. So one of the questions which was posed was, how can we better sort of follow those? How can we have a better, alumni register, whatever you want to call it, self-organized? I think there was, I believe to remember there was initiatives by the mentees to organize, right? We saw that about a year ago, a website and so on and so on, but maybe it's something that we could help them with, but still, again, leveraging and having this really on the shoulders on the mentees. And that's for me, I think, but maybe some others of our group might want to correct this. There's also how I personally see the external partners. So also the mentors. So the second circle, when they get together, that should also obviously be for the mentees. So what is, the role of that? I mean, actually also we thought we should have a logic in how we work. So that is how is going. So out of the three circles, right? Why we do that, and what would be the why, and then the how, right? The how should then respond to the why. So why are the mentors going to network? Well, essentially, I would answer to help the mentees for their questions. And the external partners, the same thing. So again, having maybe a bit of an inventory of 1 or 2 or 3 major events in the world, where we could maybe carve out a little presence that's more regular, not so much ad hoc, but regular, where mentees could come and basically have the multi-pod stamp, which would do a lot of things. All those things, I think, our group things could help, well, obviously with the networking partnership, but also outreach and then referrals. And also ultimately, if we manage to get this register working, which is not easy, was a short brainstorm session, but I think a lot of organizations struggle with that. How do you actually follow up your cohorts, right, over time? And so if that was happening and we could do that, then you also have a program reporting tool in a way, because you then see you have the connections, but also the feedback from those people, how they've benefited. So it's a long-term, almost a longitudinal study, right, of your cohort of mentees. Yeah, and I let my other 3 colleagues come in if they want to complement.
Steve is part of that. No comments. Okay. Who else? Jose.
That's fine. Thank you. Thank you, Ula.
We have a registry, and we are going, but this year we didn't share that with everybody, but we are going to do that. And the comments and the suggestions are very, very good. And you are going to see what happens in 2024, because that was the idea of the webinar. There are a few slides at the end, and something I'm very pleased to see is that we follow 5 classes from 17 to 2021. And something that is very encouraging is that about 1/3 of our multipodians, the alumni, work for governments. And there's another 1/3 that work for private institutions. So I think this gives an opportunity for the PPP, the partnership, the public-private partnership. And the fact that they are also from different countries and different disciplines, I don't know, it gives me not only hope, but faith in the future. Because finally, when we talk about intersectorality, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, we always say, yeah, this is going to happen, but it didn't happen. And now with this group of people, because they are changing careers and studies and different things, we have the opportunity to really work on global health or planetary health and welfare from different perspectives. And as you know, we have even dancers, professional dancers in the program. And we have astronomers and geographers and all sorts of engineers. And of course, the health sector is the most represented in the program. So what I would like to say is that I see that we have learned a lot in the 7 years. But the idea, and this is something that I will pose to everybody, is if we should scale up, increase the program, expand and extend. And how do you see that in the next 5 years? Do you think we should continue with about 50, 60 pairs of mentors and mentees, or that we should try to work with other organizations and share our experience and also receive their experience? I pose that to everybody.
We should do both. Let me start, Jeremy here. Let me start with, I am a member of the steering committee of the Climate Resilient Network, Climate Change Resilience Network of the Association of Commonwealth Universities. And one of the things they're seeking to do is to provide this kind of transitional training for new graduates or young professionals. And I think that a partnership in that space could be an excellent opportunity. I think so. Secondly, in the Caribbean, I think I have to find a way, some conversation with you, Fernando, about reaching out, because when I tell them, they're very interested, you know. But this usually happens, the time between the notification and the completion time, sometimes a bit short for them. So that's something I think I will want to work with you to help build some more engagement of mentees from this side.
That would be great, because we had contact with Peter Figueroa in Jamaica, and then of course James Hospitales in Trinidad, who is one of the mentors here, and he was also the head of the Caribbean Health Agency for some time before he retired. So there are opportunities. The thing is that we need more resources, human and financial, to do this. Right now, the program is myself and a person who is 55 years younger than I, which is an Ailey working from Colombia. So this is a program. This is a program, basically. And even with few resources, I think the number of people that have gone to the program are going to continue making contributions. And that's what we want. We do not select people just because they have great credentials. We select them because we know that at least 20% of them are going to have a significant impact on health and development or environmental protection. And that's a prediction. And thus far, what we have seen with people who went through the mentorship 7 years ago, or 6 or 5, and who are now in their early 30s, and some of them are in very, very good positions in different institutions or in their government. So that tells us that we should continue. And with your help and making more referrals, that would be great. That would be great. Because for the time being, we're going to continue with about 50 pairs of mentors, mentees. This year we had the smallest class, because we had the idea of starting a chapter in Spanish for Latin America, but we didn't get any takers. So we wrote to everybody, to all the Association of Latin American Schools, and the people from GIA and all the representatives of PAHO WHO in the Americas, and we got only one response, the promise that they were going to refer somebody, and we're waiting. So it's really, really difficult to get people to support us not only with our own human resources, with a network, but with a network that we're trying to build with all our mentees and the mentors. We have more than 112 countries in which people were born or live, work, or study. So it's a tremendous potential. More than 69 disciplines, more than 70 languages. And we have already used some of those riches helping other organizations. And I tell Ahmed that he's going to found his own school of thought, because it's very seldom that you find somebody who has been successful at everything and became an expert and made such significant changes in Egypt. And I want to embarrass him, but at Harvard, he was one of the best students. He was what is it called, Marshall, whatever. He did
Class Marshall.
that was needed. And as a foreigner, he was accepted in one of the premier hospitals to do something that he wanted to do. And it was outside clinical work, or it was related to medicine, but it was not what he trained for. It was something that he taught himself. And that's the type of people. Sorry, I'm embarrassing you, Ahmed, but and I know you very well, personally and professionally. So, I'm sorry, we are 15 or more minutes over the time. I'm particularly pleased and thankful because all of you have been with us for at least 1 year. And some of you, like Juan Manuel and Steve, Olaf, who else? Firdausi, Jose have been with us since 2017, actually 2017, 2018. And Marty has been with us for 3 years now or 4 years? And all of you, the ones that I mentioned, have been so successful in their mentorships. Again, I don't share this information with you, but one day I will send you the comments of your mentees about how you have changed their lives. 7 sessions, 10 sessions, with 14 sessions. You have really changed the lives of your young people. All of you. And I don't want to make you feel the way I make you feel, Ahmed, right now. but that's the truth. That's the truth. And again, I thank you and I wish you the best for the holiday season. And Juan Manuel wants to say something. Juan Manuel.
Yes, thank you, Fernando, for allowing me to make a brief comment on what I have listened from the session. I have been very lucky. I returned to Washington, D.C., and we have had 3 or 4 presential meetings with Fernando, and I'm speaking about Hernan Rosenberg and Jean-Luc Poncelet. We were very lucky to interchange some ideas about multipod, and especially we were preparing a draft resource mobilization plan that you have it, Fernando, now for your consideration, and that we will review that at proper time. Currently, I am in Buenos Aires for the Christmas season with my family, and I will be around mid-January back in DC, but I think we should strategize better how to go forward in terms of priority geographical region. Fernando make a comment about Latin America, of course, but we also need to have a specific strategy for Middle East as well as for Europe and so on, but with very special entry points for these priority regions. So other than that, I want to thank you, Fernando, and all of you, the opportunity to participate in such a marvelous program. And of course, I am available to continue helping. And I'm delighted to see my colleagues, Corbe, of course, Jose and others, and Fidorsi, that we have been from the beginning together with Fernando trying to build up something that will change definitely the life of many, okay? So thank you for the opportunity to say something, and Merry Christmas to all of you and your families.
Wonderful, thank you.
Thank you.
Irma, you wanted to say something, please. Please say something. Irma has been with us for a long time, and she is one of the most famous mentors in the program. And
That's
one thing that we're very pleased is that we have about a 50-50 gender ratio now. And Marty and Irma are here. And what is really, really important is that the young females, about 70%, 75% of our mentees are women. They want a woman as a mentor because they want to know about your experience in your professional careers. Because women have 3 lives. Women have only one, boom, just like that. But women, you have to think about many things, not only your profession, your children, the family, whatever. And women, we have it easy. That's why we died before. Because in some way, you need more time to accomplish everything you need to accomplish. So thank you. Irma, I wanted you to think about continue the work, at least in France or in all the countries that you work and you have contacts in Europe. And Marty, you are the one who suggested, no, I'm trying to remember, the connection between Marty and Irma.
Irma and I have known each other forever and ever. We've worked together internationally all around the world. So we're a team.
yeah, exactly.
Well, that's
Superwoman.
That's another connection because Marty, I don't know if it was one way or the other way, but in any way, one of them referred the other one, and we are very, very happy for that. Well, we'll see you next year. And
Yeah.
thank you for continuing giving opportunities to young people to learn from your experience. And this word that people don't want to use, wisdom. Your wisdom.
Hmm.
Your wisdom. I repeat that, your wisdom. Knowing what's important in life.
Mm.
That's wisdom. And giving the advice with your wisdom. Thank you. Okay. And Ailey, you are still there? Yes. Hello?
Yes.
Okay. We can stop. We wish to take a picture. Can we take a picture of everybody and so that we can send you the
Yep. Just give me a moment. I won't be able to. Oh, okay.
Chisom,
You can smile. They
Never-
help.
never smile, be serious. Jeremy, can we see you? Oh, it's in left.
This is smile. Okay. I will count. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Thank you. Beautiful smiles.
Okay.
Scary.
Sandrina, Chisom, and Wealth.
Thank you, Fernando, for giving us the chance to contribute a little bit after our professional career has slowed down.
Okay, wonderful. Steve was the boss of everybody. The same thing with Juan Manuel, no? The tremendous experience. By the way, Alberto Colcha is rejoining us next year.
Ah.
Fine. And just one anecdote. Steve was the boss, and he said one day, "Oh, the best ones in the division," he was the manager of our division, are Alberto Colcha and John Ehrenberg, another colleague. My office was, in between, in the middle. One was here and one was here. So now I say we are the three best in Pajo. John Ehrenberg, Fernando Zacarias, and Alberto Colcha, because I was in the middle. So one is gold, the other one is silver, and I'm the bronze.
I don't remember saying that.
You
but-
say that because in their memories, they are so happy. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. Ahmed, we'll see you soon. Eh? Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. For
Bye, bye, thank you.
Feliz
Thank you.
Navidad.
Bye.
Feliz Navidad.
Ah,
Yes.
wait.
Happy holidays, everyone. Bye-bye.
Happy holidays, happy holidays.
And bon année.
Andrea.